How you doing? Rolling. We're obviously back at it today. Day off for the players, and then tomorrow practice, and Wednesday and Thursday, and then we'll leave just a little bit earlier than what we're accustomed to leaving on a Friday to get out that far west and get settled in. Try to get them acclimated a little bit to West Coast time before the game on Saturday night. This will be a good challenge for us in watching the tape, and which we would expect from one of Coach Rodriguez's teams. Their offense, and put up 624 yards last Saturday night. Quarterback threw for I think 385 or something, rushed for about 85. They had a tailback that ran for about 150. Defensively, they playing the 3 down, which is what I think he must be comfortable with. He was that way at West Virginia for quite a while. Their nose guard is a big guy that's made some nice plays and does a good job of holding down 2 gaps. And their secondary moves around pretty well. So this will be a good challenge for our guys to play on the road with some of the younger players to see how they handle being away from home. So we definitely have our work cut out for us, and need a good week's practice.
Mike, how much of a difference is this for Wes? Home game, everyone wants to do good. Now he's going to play at a Pac-12 stadium, 18 years old. This is a really big difference for him, isn't it?
No question. One, playing on the road, most young players are very familiar at home, and family and friends, and they've practiced in the stadium. So whether you're a freshman quarterback or a guy that's been at this level for a few years, it's obviously very different when you play on the road.
You said Ruud, is there anything that stands out when you think about your first road game when you were quarterback?
Oh, not really. Again, the game's changed so much from back when I was playing, but we would ask him to execute, to distribute the ball to the guys on offense that can make plays, to play smart, take care of the football, and not try to do too much.
Coach, were you pleased with the tempo of the first unit in that first quarter and how they played?
We moved very fast, but one thing that I did mention on the radio shows this morning is our offense was never challenged, so we'll get a better feel not only this week but up through the next 3 or 4 weeks of where we're at and how he handles the speed and the tempo of our offense and the other receivers. There's young players out there that we'll have to make some adjustments. So we should have a better feel in a month or so, but last Saturday night he handled it very well.
Like the ball distribution to receivers that we saw, is that fairly close to what you want and what we'll see, or did that change dramatically week to week?
Both. We'd like to distribute it as even as possible. It doesn't always work that way. It can certainly change week to week based on the defense's approach and how they want to defend us, not only with who they can try to take away as a receiver, but also how they try to defend the run versus the pass.
What are some of the added challenges, not only to playing at different time zones, but playing so late at night? You have the whole day there, kind of the players be sitting around a little bit. How do you keep them from getting keyed up too early?
I think the players have adjusted to it because we play so many night games now. It's hard on the coaches. I know it's hard on me. It's 9:30 here, and my biological clock starts to shut down about 10 o'clock. So I think it's more of adjustment for the coaches than the players, because they can handle those time changes better than we can as adults.
Like, this team has been so successful on the road the last 2 seasons. Is that something that's easy to pass on to younger players just because all the rest of the guys know what it takes, or is that difficult to pass on to guys?
Well, it's a good start. There's a number of guys that are playing that have won a lot of games on the road against quality teams. The question gets brought up a number of times now because we have a new quarterback, and whether we as coaches or anybody wants to admit it or not, on the road, it's sometimes you go as your quarterback goes because he touches the ball every play. But we would like to think that we have enough guys that have played on the road and had success that it should help us and make it easier than what we would have gone through 3 or 4 years ago.
James Castle, his first year as a starter, what have you liked about him so far?
I didn't hear all that.
James Castleman, he's in his first year as a starter on the line. What have you liked about him so far?
Well, he's gotten better from the last half of spring ball. Had a good summer. He's in good shape, in our opinion, and had a good preseason camp. And so we've moved him into that spot where we think that he should grow and develop over the rest of his career. And he was sound last week in assignments, but wasn't in there enough in real action for us to evaluate him at this point.
You mentioned what you expect with Wes as far as just getting the ball where it needs to go. Is there any thought or plan to kind of get him acclimated early, maybe change the game plan a little bit early so that he feels comfortable before you, I guess, start going like normal?
We don't have that luxury. Most of what we do is based on the defense, and they could play it one way or the other. And so we've given him our offense, and between how he handles it on the field and the plays that Todd calls, we just have to take what they give us. We had some missed assignments on defense that we would like to get cleaned up before the next game. I don't think anybody played poorly, but we feel like that the turnover battle, missed assignments, and effort play such a huge role in winning games today at this level, and so we need to be better and not have as many missed assignments.
Do you guys anticipate trying to get JW in the first quarter against Arizona?
I'm not sure that we have a plan for that yet. Today's a big study day, a big film day for us where we come up with plans tonight and throughout the morning tomorrow before noon. So I'm not sure that that's been decided at this point.
Mike, along those lines, how good can he be? I know you don't want two quarterbacks, but if you have a change-up, a guy that can change the game up a little bit, how valuable could JW be in that role?
Well, hopefully throughout the season that he can give us a little different approach than what we've had the last 2 years here. There's a time for a player like JW. He understands our offense, but he also brings another dimension with his ability to run, and he's shown that he'll run physical and run into a crowd. And so as he matures, just like Wes, with experience, we would hope that he would give us something that we hadn't had over the last 2 years.
Mike, I think I read somewhere it was 127 degrees on the field at kickoff Saturday night. Did you guys have any problems with the heat? Did everybody handle that pretty well?
We were fine, but again, we weren't stressed. We'd like to think that we're in decent physical condition right now. The majority of our starters didn't play through the second quarter, so during this time of the year, a player becomes stressed after a fluid loss, which would be playing into 2 to 3 quarters and then coming off the bench and your body cooling down a little bit and then core temperature going back up on the field. And when that happens, that's when players get stressed and cramps set in. So we didn't really get to that point. It's going to be 93 degrees out there and at kickoff right around 90 is what they're saying right now from what I read. So whatever that heat feels like compared to here, it's going to be hot, and I'm sure that our players will be challenged and we'll be in that situation on Saturday night.
Speaking of stress, when you've got a run-pass quarterback like Arizona does,
Who does that stress defensively? What position group or what guy in particular?
Well, it's everybody on defense. You know, we've seen it in this league. You know, we saw it with early in Robert Griffin's career when he ran the ball more. Missouri's quarterback did it some. Tanny Hill gave you some stress because he could take off and run. Zach Robinson did it here for us. Your two outside backers or your one outside backer, based on what your scheme is, they get stressed more than anybody, in our opinion. And so, in facing an offense like this, success on our defense at times based on the mental makeup of our guys that are out there on the edge and them being able to identify run pass.
Mike, staying on the stress subject, I guess you would have maybe liked to have seen Lunt face a little bit of adversity. Maybe you don't have to see week one, but he plays so little. You didn't get to see him in a lot of different situations. How much does that concern you, or does it not concern you at all at this point?
Well, it always concerns us because as a coach, you want to get your players enough work to where you feel like that they've advanced in different areas and gotten prepared for the next week, but you don't want to get them too much work to where they stress their bodies, they stress their legs, or could have at times been vulnerable to some sort of an injury. So we would have liked to have had more work. It didn't work out that way, but if we had to choose, I would rather have that than have had them play 85 or 90 plays in 100-degree weather.
What are your thoughts on Moncrief and Lampkin? I mean, obviously the opponent maybe was not a good judge, but it seemed like on punt returns they had a pretty good instinct of what they were doing in an area you guys have been looking to improve on.
Well, you're right. What you said, you hit it right on the nose, so there's not really anything for me to say on top of that. Both those guys showed signs of being able to make one guy miss. And as a punt returner, we got to be able to make one guy miss, and then the ones that are special, you know, they can make two or three miss. Those are the guys, the Parrish Coxes, that give you a chance to take it all the way. So that was encouraging for us, and we'll continue to get those guys more work.
Making two or three guys miss, is that something that you instinctively have, or is that something you're going to have to develop with them?
I think it's instincts. I didn't hear what you said.
Tracy, player start?
Yeah, Tracy's back with us, yes. I don't know about starting. There's not any discipline involved in whether he starts or rotates. Is that what you're asking me?
Yeah.
No, he'll be with us practicing. Now, offensively, our staff will have to make a decision on whether they want him to be out there the first play or later based on what we're trying to accomplish.
Do you think you can take confidence as an offensive unit? West goes 11 for 11 in the quarter. The running backs rush for 9 touchdowns. How big is that confidence they can gain from that? I don't know if they need it, but going forward.
Well, we certainly need it. We've got work ahead of us. We're a long ways from being the finished product. You know, again, I'm trying to think for them. You're asking me to go through what they would think, but they would have to feel better now than they did a week ago about executing and get the ball in the hands of the right guys. But I think they're smart enough to know that we've got a lot of work ahead of us, and we have a ways to go. And they understand the game that they were in, and I believe they have a good feel for who we're playing and what the challenge is this week.
As much concern as there is with West Lund, it has to be comforting having Joseph Randall and Jeremy Smith back there, two of the best in the conference.
They were good. They didn't get stressed either. They were running through decent sized holes and getting in the secondary untouched. And the one good thing about those guys is they have been stressed throughout the last couple years. They've been in big games and they've been hit, and they've practiced well, and I think that they'll play well, and they should lessen the load for Wes.
The defense determines, I know, what you do on offense, but can you lean on them a little bit with Wes making his first road start?
Well, we hope so. I think that as the season progresses and some of the young linebackers that we have that are rotating in have good speed and they run from sideline to sideline, maybe better than what we've had here in a number of years. And so as they gain some maturity and start to work with Broderick and Gilbert and D'Lo, Calvin Barnett should give us a decent push in the middle. We haven't had a good push in the middle in years. And hopefully our edges should give us some pass rush, and we haven't had much of a pass rush. So if they continue to work hard and do what their abilities allow them to do, and they get better, we should perform better on defense as the season goes forward.
Mike, I next week on the importance of get-back coaches. Are they undervalued in it?
What happened? Something I don't know about?
Not as good of a speech on
Oh.
the importance of get-back coaches on the staff. I hear it's your strength staff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how important are they?
Well, they're really important in this stadium. You know, we play football in basically a basketball arena, which is awesome for us because the crowd's right on top of the field. And when we go on the road, it's not really ever been an issue because we have so much space. Coach Glass and his staff, they're in charge of keeping the players, and really the coaches. The coaches are the biggest issue. We put them in charge of it because everybody's scared of them. And it doesn't do me any good to tell somebody to get back. And so he's done it for years, and you got to have him in this stadium. There's no question. It's always interesting before the games, the officials talk to us about keeping people back. And about every 3 or 4 out of 5 that come through here, they'll say, I know this is going to be an issue here, but we need to do the best we can to stay back. So they're obviously aware of the same situation that we are.
Have you ever been in the way? You ever been told to get back?
Yeah, well, yeah, I've been in the way a few times, but for the most part, I stay back. But it can be an issue.
Are you comfortable with Des Roland in that third running back role?
Yes, because we have to, because he's the third running back right now. Does he need more experience? Yes. Does he need more work? He's run the ball better now than he did last year, which he should because he's been here longer. He's done a nice job of catching the football for us. He was lacking in that area when he showed up here, and he's performed better in scrimmages and done a nice job with that. And he is a big, strong body that gives us a little bit of a different look than what the other 2 guys give us. So he should develop just like most of the other young players.
You know what the timetable is for Andre May or David Glidden or one of those guys who are still bouncing back from early season injuries?
They should be back to practicing this week. And what we're going to do is and I've done this a couple years ago, and then I haven't done a good job with it, is just come out and give you guys a probable out or whatever on Thursdays to make it easier on everybody. And I don't know why that went away, but we used to do that a couple years ago, and that's really the easiest way to do it. But we anticipate having them back out there in practice, and we just have to see them and see how they do through the week, and then on Thursday make a decision whether we put them on the plane and take them with us.
How impressive is it that, the technology development, ACL tear would mean the whole year more likely. Now you're seeing Andre May, 6 months back. Is that impressive how such a severe injury these guys are coming back, and they're coming back full speed?
It is, like everything else with technology's getting better, and these surgeons are really good, and guys that do the work for us. It's amazing what they can do and how fast they can get players back out there. And I think that we've come a long ways in rehabilitation, nutrition, and different ways to work together with the athlete to get them back quicker. And I've been very pleased with our medical staff and our surgeons and our strength staff and how quickly they can get our players back.
Along those lines, Mike, Devin Hedgeworth is a guy that has dealt with some of that. He's a guy that does things right on and off the field. How happy were you to see him he seemed to play pretty good.
He did fine, and we were able to get him out there, and because of the situation, get quite a few reps. So we had the ability to get him out, get whatever work we thought he needed to get, and then to get him off. And I think it should have helped his confidence, make him feel better, because he is an experienced player that's played on the road some and has been with us. And so, we're going to need that third and fourth corner, and guys are going to get gassed, and you got to put other guys in. And so it was good to see him out there and have some success.
What's your biggest concern going into Saturday?
Oh, just, you guys have already brought it up. Anytime you go play on the road, you're always concerned. It's just, it's not the same as being at home, and you got to get out there and get started and function. You got to take care of the ball and limit your missed assignments and play hard. I have a lot of confidence in our football team. but we just have a number of guys that haven't played on the road, and so hopefully they'll adjust quickly and get into the flow and play well.
How do you feel the defensive players have handled things while Coach Young's been sidelined?
They've done very well. We talk quite a bit as a team about in college football, you're going to be without players at any given time, unfortunately, and at times you'll be without coaches because we all live normal lives just like everybody else out there in the public. Glenn Spencer went through it last year where we lost him for about a week. Coach Young has had a medical issue, and we expect him to be back now in less than a week, but you'll have situations where coaches can't be there all the time. Players can't be there all the time, and so the operation of the program and the direction we move and everything else should make up for that. And I think they've done well. We certainly want to get him back as quick as possible, but they have to adjust and move on. Jermichael Ashley, one of our graduate assistants, has been with us a couple years, so he's coaching them right now.
What do you have to do when GA steps up, has to take over, the extra support, or is somebody you trust just to say go do it?
He's been here a couple years, which helps us. One thing about graduate assistant coaches now is they're older than they used to be. So they used to be 22, 23-year-old guys that were just breaking in, and now we have graduate assistant coaches who are 26, 28, 27, 29, 30, married and got a kid. So they're more mature, and it helps that they have some maturity, and so we've got a number of guys that help us in that area that we trust.
You have to feel real good to be on this.
Oh, I
Did
think.
you call Beckman to ask him?
No, I have not talked to Beckman. It's difficult when you watch games because of the style of offenses that are out there that we're accustomed to in college football now. It's difficult to tell how good anybody really is until you see them live. So you do the best you can to prepare for what you think is somebody's best, and as a coach you worry about it, and then when you get in the game that they're slower than what you thought, and it makes it much easier to play against them. So, but because of the style of play, it's more difficult to tell how good people are. Good. All right.